Good morning, everybody. Let's do this. First things first, my name's Dave, and math is the game today. We're going to do the solution to the problem of the week. I appreciate everybody on Facebook giving the problem a shot. As always, it's fun to see everybody log in from everywhere, across the country actually, and make mistakes and have fun together, and everyone has a different way to approach the problem, which is great. This week, before we get into the solution, I want to talk about a topic that I run into a lot, and it's anxiety, math anxiety, fear when you see a problem. So I see this with students a lot. Maybe some people are looking at the problem on Facebook and get anxiety. And in fact, every problem that I posted on Facebook for the problem of the week thus far is a problem that I have run into, and I'm sitting with a student and I look at it and initially I have no idea what to do. So that causes panic. And so just know that if you have anxiety with math problems, you're not alone. Everyone has them. Everyone gets to the point where they don't know what to do, and it's an uncomfortable feeling, especially if you're a math tutor and the student is coming to you for answers and you look at the problem and then instantly you don't know what to do. That can cause panic. So let's just talk a little bit about math anxiety and how to get around it and what you can do. First thing I do is you look at a problem, you have panic, freeze, you can feel your adrenaline flowing. Take a deep breath. Relax, right? Try to calm down a little bit, because if you're too aroused, you're not going to be able to get through the problem. But a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of arousal is good. It can actually help you focus. So take a deep breath, and the next thing I start to do is talk to yourself. If you're working in a group, that's always good. You can talk to your partner, but talking to yourself has a calming effect. And sometimes when you say something and then you hear it, it goes into your brain better than just looking at it. So talk about the problem, read the problem out loud, and hearing it will give you ideas of what to do. So that leads you to the next step. Is step 3, if you have math anxiety, is take baby steps with a problem. So you look at a problem, just because you don't know the exact solution when you start doesn't mean that you can't write some things down that are going to help you get closer to the solution. And in worst case, it's partial credit. So write simple things down that you know, especially with a word problem. Word problems cause everybody anxiety because it's easy to see a math problem like 3 plus 3 because you immediately know what the answer is. But with a word problem, you're going to have to read it. It's going to take time. So read the problem and then start writing down the numbers or things that are in the problem that are math statements is helpful. And then fourth, you get as far as you can. And then this is a big one, is to ask for help. A lot of people don't do this. They just suffer in silence. Ask for help. Ask tutors, teachers, parents, peers, friends. Ask somebody to work on the problem with you. And you get experience and learn how to solve problems when you watch other people do them and work with you. They might prompt you, give you hints. And it takes practice. So if you have anxiety, keep working. Don't stop. Don't give up. So that's my anxiety spiel. Okay, let's get into this problem. Here, I'll take a picture of the problem just in case. If you haven't done it on Facebook, you can pause the video, take a look at this problem, and you can do it. I'll just read it out loud. A stick of wood is cut into 3 unequal pieces. First piece is shorter than the second piece, and the second piece is shorter than the third. If the stick is 24 centimeters in length and the length of each piece is an even integer, what are the possibilities for the lengths of the pieces? So if you haven't seen the Facebook post, you can pause the video and take a shot at it. Otherwise, let's get started on the solution here. Okay, so you see this problem. Always with word problems, the first step is draw a picture. Drawing a picture, it's easy to do, it's a first step, and maybe it helps you think about the problem. So you have this stick of wood here, right? What does the problem say? Okay, it's 24 centimeters. So I do this. Okay, I'm going to cut it into 3 pieces. And here's 3 pieces. So the third piece is going to be longer than the second, which is going to be longer than the first. So I've got 3 pieces. It's always nice with math to label things. These are variables. We don't know what the lengths are going to be. So let's call them X, Y, Z. That's a good way to start. Okay, so we're getting somewhere here. Now we want to be able to look at this and what mathematical, we have a word problem. We need to turn it into math. What math statements can we write from this? Let's see here. How about x, and these may or may not help us, but we're going to write them anyway for partial credit and to maybe, who knows what will come out of it. So x plus y equals 24. That's true, right? That's a math statement, that's true. What else is true? Z is going to be greater than y, which is going to be greater than x. Okay, this just speaks to the fact that this is the longest one, this is the medium one, and this is the little guy. Okay, so that's true. Another statement is x, y, and z are even integers. On Facebook, some people were missing this part of it. Even integers. So what does that mean? That means that the length of all the sticks has to be 2, 4, 6, 8. Can't be 1, can't be a decimal. Has to be a whole number that is positive and has to be even. So that makes the set of possibilities much smaller. Okay, now any problem too typically has a crux. And so you're writing this information down thinking, okay, how's this gonna help me? I'm looking to make a move here that's going to drastically simplify the problem. And the one thing that did it for me was this next statement. So I'm writing these statements down, and then it occurred to me, okay, say I cut this thing into three equal pieces, 24 divided by 3. That means each piece is going to be 8 centimeters. So I can't have that. So if I have this stick of wood and the first cut I make is 8 centimeters long, I'm screwed, right? Because I'm not going to be able to get this one be smaller than that. Or this one, if I cut it into, if this is 8, that means this has to be 8 minus 24. That means these are both going to be longer. This is going to be 8, this is going to be 8, and this is going to be 8. So that's not good. So we know that z has to be greater than 8. That when I wrote that, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. So once I have that, I think, okay, let's make a table of this thing. So we're gonna have a column for z, and we're gonna have, so we'll envision this like we're cutting this piece of wood, and we're gonna start with this longest piece. We're gonna cut the z piece, and then we'll look at what we have left over. So we'll have a left column, I'll call it leftover. And then I'm gonna make a column let's make it y, x. So after I cut piece z, I'm going to find out what's left over, and I'm going to split it up into this yx piece. And remember that based on our picture, y is the second biggest piece or the middle sized piece, and x is the smallest. So basically all we have to do is fill out this table. Now I know z has to be greater than 8, so z cannot equal 8. So what's the next size up after 8? Z minimally has to be 10. Has to be at least 10 or this whole thing's not going to work. So if I cut my first piece at 10, what's left over? 14. Now I have to get 2 more pieces out of that. They have to be even integers. So what adds up to 14? What 2 numbers add up to 14, but each of those numbers has to be less than 10? Let's see. 14, 8, and 6. 8 plus 6 equals 14. 4 and 10, but 4 and 10 is not going to work because then that middle piece is going to be the same as z. So 4 and 10 is no good. 8 and 6 is the only pair of numbers that work here. And so now we're just going to grind through and keep going with this. So now we're just going to bump up. We're going to make z a little bit bigger. We're going to go up as an even integer. So z was 10, now z is 12. So if I have 12, that means what's my leftover? 12. Because 12 plus 12 is 24. So now what are my pairs that we can have here? 10 and 2, that could be my y and x. 8 and 4. So are there any others? 12. 6 and 6 make 12, but then my inequality up here breaks down. One has to be bigger than the other, has to be bigger than the other. So there's other ways to do this problem, but this gives you a systematic way to go and find these solutions. There's a limited number of these pairs that'll work. And actually it's not a pair, it's a triple. It's this, this, and this. So there's a limited number that'll work. This is a systematic way to go find them. So the next one is 14. So we're just going to keep using this method. 14, 10 left over. numbers that add up to 10, integers, 8 and 2, 6 and 4. Okay, let's try, now say z is 16. So I cut a 16 length, that's z. What's left over? 8. How can I break up 8? Two numbers that add up to 8 that are even integers that aren't equal. One's bigger than the other. 6 and 2. Again, 4 and 4 doesn't work. 2 and 6 doesn't work. It has to be y is 6, x is 2. Okay, 18. So now I cut off an 18 piece. Size, my z, my big piece is 18. What's left? 6. So now how can I break up 6 into two integers that add up? 4 and 2. Okay, and that's the only one. 3 and 3 is no good. You can do 3 and 3, but they're not even, so that doesn't fulfill the requirements. Okay, so now let me try, say I cut a piece that's 20. That means I have 4 left. So what are two numbers that add up to 4 that are even integers? 2 and 2, but that's no good. 1 and 3 doesn't work because they're odd. So this doesn't work. So 20 is no good. So there you have it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 combinations of possible integers to add up to make this stick. So that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that. I want to give a shout out, like I usually do, to somebody who participated on the Facebook. And I want to give a shout out to, actually it's not her name anymore, I want to say Emily Wood, but her name's not Emily Wood probably anymore because she's married. But Emily Wood, her and I went to all the way from grade school to high school together. And she's one smart cookie, I'll say that. I think she's probably a doctor or something at this point, and I think she lives in California. But hi, Em, good job. Em and I were in a lot of the same classes together, in advanced classes, but the difference was she did really good, and my grades weren't that good. But I was in all her classes, and I got to watch her. And, very impressive, and thank you for contributing, Em, on the Facebook. So that's it. If you have any comments or questions, leave them. There's another problem coming up. They're going to keep coming. Don't give in to math anxiety. The other thing is, if you get this problem, instead of doing it yourself, share it with your kids or your spouse. Math's fun. Do it with people. It's a way to relate with people. I do math homework with my daughter. I help her with her math homework. It's kind of like a fun thing for us to do together. So take the problem, share it, talk about it. It's good for your brain. So happy mental exercising. See you next time. Bye.